Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to the 9 p.m. live English news edition. Here are the top stories. Celebration of World Food Day with the theme Cultivate, Feed and Preserve. To the international news, curfew in Paris in 8 metropolises from Saturday. Hello, welcome to our newsroom for having the news in details. Accompanied by several members of the government, Prime Minister His Excellency Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed traveled to the locality of Danan in the region of Al Sibir to lay the foundation stone of a future health post. Upon his arrival, the Prime Minister and his ministerial delegation were received by the Prefect of the region, Mr. Musa Adil Migani, the President of the Regional Council, Omar Ahmed Ba'ais, and by an enthusiastic crowd who gave them a particularly warm welcome. The ministerial delegation was composed of the Minister of Health, Mohammed Warasama Diri, Minister of Labour, Mr. Isman Ibrahim Roble, the Minister of Justice, Mr. Ali Hassan Bahdoun, the Minister of Education, Mr. Mustafa Mohammed Mahmoud, the Minister of Environment, Mohammed Abdul Qadir Musa Haram, the Minister of Interior, Mr. Mumin Ahmed Sheikh, Minister of Commerce, Hassan Mohammed Ibrahim, as well as the Vice President of the National Assembly, Elmi Ofsiye Wa'ais, and several parliaments. This project for the construction of a health post in Danan meets the objectives set by the Ministry of Health in terms of extending the government's aims is to satisfy the grievances expressed by the population during the recent presidential tour. welcoming the delegation led by the Prime Minister, the Prefect of the region, and all the members of the delegation took the floor of the Djiboutian government for the effort undertaken within the framework of health decentralization in the country. Prime Minister Abdulqadir Kamil Mohammed and his delegation then met with the population to exchange and discuss together on the basic needs expressed in the grievances of these rural localities. Discussion naturally focused on the new health post in Danan, which will serve all surrounding localities such as Ged Garasa, Soload, or Bio Kulule. The Okals welcomed the benevolent policy of the President of the Republic and his government to improve access to basic health care throughout the country. In his speech, the Minister of Health, Mr. Mohamed Ouassama Diouye, explained that this project to build a level 1 health post will provide primary health care for the population of Tannan and several surrounding localities. For his part, the Prime Minister thanked the people of Danan for this magisterial welcome, recalling that this laying of the foundation stone emanates from the instruction of the President, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Gele. As of his visit, the Prime Minister, Mr. Abdulqadir Kamil Mohammed, took the opportunity to visit several of the places, such as the Danan Market Garden and the basic school. The ministerial delegation then headed to the site of the future health post to proceed to the laying of the foundation stone. This is a level 1 structure that will offer primary healthcare services as well as preventive services in several essential areas. The NAN's future health post will contribute to improving maternal and child health care, particularly through vaccination coverage, the fight against malnutrition, and regular monitoring for pregnant women. The Republic of Djibouti, pardon, like the rest of the world, this morning celebrated the World Food Day at the Directorate of Fisheries to the Ministry of Agriculture. The theme of this day was Cultivate, Feed, Preserve Together. This edition is an opportunity for the government of Djibouti to renew its commitment to achieve SDO number 2, which is to eradicate hunger and ensure food security, improve nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture and resilient to climate change. Shared by His Excellency Mr. Mohammed Ahmed Awale, Minister of Agriculture, the day brought together the representative of the United Nations systems, the representative of FAO, the ambassador of the European Union, the ambassador of Germany, the representative of WHO, and senior officials of the Department of Agriculture. The representative of the United Nations system took the floor to welcome and praise the effort of the Ministry of Agriculture in the fight against the adverse effect of locust on Djiboutian agriculture. In his speech, the FAO representatives praised the exemplary collaboration of the Ministry of Agriculture, which spares no effort in the daily struggle. For his part, the German ambassador thanked the Minister of Agriculture for the warm welcome he received. His Excellency Mr. His Excellency Mr. Mohammed Ahmed Awale, Minister of Agriculture, in his speech explained that these materials are offered by FAO, the Italian base, and the European Union for the Ministry of Agriculture to carry out its missions to the populations. At the end of the speech, the officials handed over important materials to the Ministry of Agriculture. The materials consisted of locust control equipment, fishing equipment, and rolling stock. In fact, later it was noted in influx of the locusts from neighboring countries that devastated the crops of local residents, thus reducing agricultural production and nullifying the effort made for months. Now, the town hall of the city of Djibouti celebrated this morning, 2020, in partnership with UNICEF, the International Hand Washing Day in the capital. This celebration took place in the presence of many personalities, including Fatima Awal Osman, Mayor of the city of Djibouti, Mrs. Mumina Ahmed Hassan, Minister of Women and Family, representative of UNICEF in Djibouti, Mrs. Melva Johnson, the prefect of the city of Djibouti, Mr. Osman Abile, as well as in this case, the president of the civil society, Mr. Yusuf Nuho, the president of the commune of Rasdika, Ibrahim Said Badul, and the presidents of different communes and the local elites. This event also mobilized men and women, young and old. After a demonstration session on hand washing with soap, the personalities took the turns reminding the audience of the importance of regular hand washing in order to prevent illnesses related to poor hygiene, stressing that washing hands before eating should become a habit for everyone. UNICEF representative in Djibouti explained that this simple gesture, accessible to all, contributes to improving the health of the persons. Now, the military hospital of the armies hosted this Thursday, October 15, 2020, at 7:30 a.m. a closing ceremony of the initial military training for young doctors and health technicians, which took place at the military school President Goulet from August 2nd to October 10th, 2020. Indeed, following the recruitment of young doctors and health technicians, it was essential to train them to the hard job of soldier, which requires self-sacrifice, discipline, rigor, and mental strength in order to perfect their profession of specialist. The objective of this training is to initiate and familiarize young doctors and health technicians to military life through the teaching of disciplines such as the General Statute of Djiboutian Military, which governs the military career, The regulation of discipline in the army, which governs the behavior and military discipline, the use of weapons in the armed forces, the exercise of authority and command to train competent and charismatic military leaders who command beyond the strip. This training is part of the capacity building of the Army Health Service to raise its operational level. Chaired by General of the Armed Forces, Lieutenant General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, this ceremony was attended by Chief of Defense Staff Brigadier General Tahir Ali Mohammed, Major General Hassan Ali Kamil, advisor to the CMEGA, the commanders of the country's defense and security institution, and the highest official of the Egyptian Armed Forces. Upon his arrival, General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim was welcomed by General Tahir Ali Mohammed, Chief of Defense Staff. Then the General conducted a review of the troops composed of the flag and its guard elements of the honorary picked and trainees. After the ceremony closed and the official installed in the tribune, the General Staff of the Armed Forces, Lieutenant General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, addressed to the young doctors and health technicians who have completed their basic military training. General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim congratulated them for their assiduity and perseverance throughout this training. The CMGA urged them to invest more in order to meet current challenges, namely the operation commitment through deployment of the 2nd Battalions in Somalia, but also through the mobilization of all the medical corps personnel in the fight against COVID-19, which requires a real deontology. To close the ceremony, the military command invited all the guests to a breakfast around a table. To close the ceremony, the military command invited all the guests to a breakfast around the table in a serene atmosphere. The Harpi Folklore group animated the ceremony with traditional songs and dances. Let's have a look together. Moving now into international news now, like I said on my titles, the French authorities are worried. The country, in the words of its prime minister, is undergoing a second strong wave. The president of the French Republic spoke live on television this Wednesday evening to present even more restrictive measures than those already taken. Emmanuel Macron thus confirmed a new device evoked for several days, namely the establishment of curfew in Paris and 8 other French cities to fight against the spread of the new coronavirus. This curfew will therefore apply to the entire Ile-de-France region, including Lille, Rouen, Saint-Étienne, Toulouse, Lyon, Grenoble. This measure therefore concerns more than 20 million French people. This new restriction will come into force on Saturday, October 17 at 12 o'clock. It will be in force for at least 4 weeks, but the head of state could extend the curfew until December 1st if the French Parliament authorizes it. As of next Saturday, a strict traffic restriction will therefore be in place. Controls will therefore be carried out in a proportional manner. The police will be mobilized and fines will be issued, in case of non-compliance with the curfew, from 135 to 1,500 euros in case of repeated offenses. This is it for this edition of 9 p.m. Thank you for watching us. Have a wonderful evening.